following the Vietnam War, a three-phase attack that was launched on the Vietnamese New Year sought to destroy the U.S. base at Ken Sa. Answer? Steele? Tet Offensive. Lieutenant William Calley Jr. was convicted for his role in what 1960 event that saw the killing of several hundred Vietnamese civilians in the namesake village.
Miley Massacre?
What Vietnamese leader was assassinated in a CIA-backed coup set to place in a number of nation-building policies? Answer? Steele? Yeah. 10 over here. 10 there, 10 there. Okay, toss up 2. This disease is linked to mutations in the crystaline-1 gene and is diagnosed with Congo red staining of tissue. Sufferers of this disease have an extra APP gene, and people suffering from Down syndrome are more likely to develop this disease. Presence of APOE4 gene is a genetic risk factor for this disease, originally linked to the low active chlorine levels in the brain. Identify this disease in the elderly that causes memory loss.
Alzheimer's.
10. Bonus. Answer questions about the Booker Prize. What South African author won the Booker Prize and the Nobel Prize in Literature for works like Burger's Daughter and July's People?
Howard Payton.
Maybe more than
10. I have to put page, sorry. What other South African winner of the award wrote the novels Waiting for the Barbarians in Disgrace? Answer? Steele?
J.M. Doherty.
10. What Trinidadian born author wrote a novel about a man who's frustrated in his wife Shama in a house from his Biswas? Steele?
B.S. Ball.
30. Okay, toss up 3. The remains of Lake Makadi Kagadi are in this region that is also home to the Gemsuk National Park and the only dry Nasab riverbed. A long-term study of meerkats is still going on and is based in this desert. The Okavango is the only permanent river in this desert that is home to the Sand Bushmen. Identify this desert that covers parts of
Sahara?
No, Meg. Identify this covers parts of Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa.
Kalahari.
Good. 10. Identify the animal phyla for 10 points. Coral, sea anemones, and jellyfish belong to what phyla that consists of organisms with staining structure known as nematocysts?
Nigeria.
Okay, sponges belong to what phylum that have their skeletal structure formed by sclerocytes? Sclerocytes. Answer? Steele.
Correct.
Flatworms and other invertebrates lacking body cavities belong to what simple unsingulated phyla? Answer? Steele. Nothing? It is Platyhem. There you go. I'm not a science teacher. Number 4. This man gave a serious lecture at Oxford that was published in his collection on translating Homer. This author wrote about Victorian England in his essay collection entitled Culture and Anarchy and paid homage to his deceased friend Arthur Hugh Clough with his poem Thyrs. His best-known work is described as a darkling plain where ignorant armies clash by night. No. Identified as the British author of Dover Beach.
Glass.
No, Arnold. 5. If these devices exhibit variable capacitance, they're called varactors, and 4 of them together will make a full wave rectifier. The Shockley equation can be used to find the current in them, and they are represented by a solid triangle with a line bisecting it. Coming in Zener, Gunn, and Esaki type, what are these devices that allow current to only flow in one direction, notably come in light-emitting type?
Diode.
10. This artist depicted his mistress Dora Maar in The Weeping Woman. Identify the Spanish artist who depicted the bombing of Bastown during the Spanish Civil War in Guernica.
Picasso.
Picasso depicted 5 prostitutes from Barcelona brothel in what painting from his African period that depicts 2 subjects wearing African masks? Answer? 2 paintings are visible in the background of what Picasso painting from his blue period that depicts a nude couple on the left conversing with a mother holding a baby in her arms on the right. Answer? Steele? Nothing. La vie. Toss up 6. This man used the skulls of different races to convey the irrelevance of brain size, and he studied the migration patterns of the Inuit people. In addition to studying the Kwakiutl tribes, he studied the indigenous gift-giving practice of potlatch. The Mind of the Primitive Man is worked by what man who established an anthropology department at Columbia University and taught students such as Ruth Benedict, Zora Neale Hurston, and Margaret Mead?
Boaz.
10. Nathan Detroit, identify these musicals. Nathan Detroit watches Miss Adelaide sing a bushel and a peck in what musical about a floating crabs game? Answer? Steele? Guys and Dolls. While his daughters are in captivity, one character in this musical sings, I am the very model of a modern Major General. Identify this Gilbert and Sullivan musical about the title band of Sea Raiders. Good. The song Don't Cry For Me, Argentina appears in what Andrew Lloyd Webber musical about the life of Eva Perón?
Smith.
Steele?
Yes.
What? No, it's Vita. 7. This bill was introduced in the House by John Sensenbrenner in the aftermath of an unknown individual mailing objects to Capitol Hill. This bill introduced a controversial sneak and peek provision, which allowed law enforcement officers to break into people's homes. Portions of this bill were allowed to expire in June 2015, along with a pledge from President Obama to close on.
Patriot Act?
Good. 10. Answer the following pertaining to organs of the human body. The cords of the Billroth are contained within what organ that is responsible for the destruction of red blood cells? Answer?
Spleen.
In mammals, the dura mater is one of what 3 membranes that surround the brain and the spinal cord? Answer?
Membrane.
Steele? 10. What name is given to the double-walled sac that surrounds the heart?
Pericardium.
2010. 8. This musical piece's third movement trio is interrupted by a 2/4 section whenever it is repeated. The second movement of this piece is labeled Andante molto mosso and is meant to represent a quail, a nightingale, and a cuckoo. The code of this piece is called The Tail That Wags the Dog, and the original name of this piece was Recollections of My Country Life. Identify the symphony by Beethoven that depicts a ship of life.
Casserole.
Good. Hogans are male priests in this religion, and Mambas are the female counterparts. Identify the syncretic religion practiced in Haiti that is often associated with namesake dolls.
Voodoo.
In voodoo, laws serve as the intermediaries between its adherents and the supreme god.
Nobody.
Answer? Steele? It is Bandai. This tuxedo-wearing Loa of death is represented by a coffin between 2 crosses. Steele? Baron Samedi. Okay, 9. This book includes the description of 7 trumpets and describes the battles of God's wrath. There are questions as to whether 144,000 is a perfect number, as it is listed as one of the 9 seals within this work. No. This book mentions famine and death and exemplified by black and green as 2 of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Identifies
Revelations.
10. Answer this question. Okay. Book of Revelation. Okay, next toss-up, number 10. Let's go. The Miller-Rabin algorithm can be used to decide whether an input is one of these values that are darkened when drawing an Ulam spiral. Added together with Goldbach's conjecture, these values have a subset known as the Carmichael numbers as they pass a test described as Fermat's-Little theorem. The twin versions of these values have a gap of 2 between them. Identify.
Rhymes.
Good. Okay, Thresh, Timo, and Tarek are champions in this game. Identify this video game developed by Riot Games. Its professional division is known as LCS.
League of Legends.
Okay, this North American LCS team finished the 2016 summer split regular season in first place with 17-1 record. Bring out the trash. Anything?
Smith.
TSM. Okay, this player with a real name, Vincent Wang, plays support for TSM with a fairly recent addition to the team.
Joe.
Steele?
Smith.
It is Biofrost. Score at the half.
Guy, 61-60.
Substitutions?
Yeah, we'll put Wyatt in for Connor.
Just kidding, I got 71.
I did you. By the way, I think it's 3 seconds on bounce back bonuses. It's not immediate.
Okay, my bad. I'm gonna do it too long. I'll speed it up there.
No. You're doing
Oh, bounce back. Oh, I think it's 2. Because when he sent us the email, it was 2.
because you were doing immediate. I think we had
Yeah.
Ted offensive, but like.
It was 2 on the
Okay. Okay. It was 2 on the email. I'll go to 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
No problem. Got your name? All good?
Oh yeah, just kidding, I don't. What's your name?
Wyatt Wingo.
Y-R.
W-Y-A-T-R.
Okay. Toss-up 11. During this battle, Operation Little Saturn took place, resulting in the Second Battle of Kharkov. Gorgy Zhukov led the Operation Uranus during this battle. The Pavlov House was a major fortification for one side in this battle that saw the losing side enclosed near the Volga River. The German 6th Army.
Stalingrad.
10. Answer these follow about Charles Dickens. This man is the love interest of Lucy Manette, and it just happens to be the nephew of the Marquis. Identified this character from A Tale of Two Cities, for whom Sidney Carton gives his life. Answer? Steele?
Charles Darnay.
Good. This man was accused of a felony along with Compeyson, and later attempts to kill him. Identify the secret benefactor of Pip in Great Expectations. Answer?
Yeah.
It is Abel Magwitch. Okay, the center character in this work hires a servant named Sam Weller. Identify this Charles Dickens novel about Samuel and the travels of his title club. Answer? Pickwick Papers. The main, number 12. The main character of this novel works at Mr. Sawyer's restaurant and has relations with a man that calls his heart a tobacco tin. In flashbacks in this novel, a character named School Teacher terrorized one character on a plantation called Sweet Home. The main character of this novel has a daughter named Never and lives in 122 Bluestone Road. Identify this novel by Toni Morrison that features Sitha and centers around.
Beloved.
Identify these terms from economics. The marginal type of this term decreases when additional goods are consumed. Identify this term that measures how useful a good is to a consumer. Answer?
Utility.
Good. Okay, when the price of one of these goods rises, the demand for another type of these goods will rise. Identify this term for goods that consumers consider similar or comparable, like Pepsi and Coke. Answer? Steele? And nothing? Substitute. Frederick von Weiser coined this term in 1914. In 1914, it can be described as the next best alternative that is being foregone when making a decision.
Opportunity cost?
Answer? What?
Opportunity cost?
Yes. Okay, 13. This pantheon has a gag protein. This pathogen, has a gag protein in its hat gene and a side packaging signal. GP41 and GP120 are the glycoproteins that make up the ANV cap of this virus that enters through the CCR5 receptor. The disease this virus causes can lead to Kaposi sarcoma and has been treated by drugs such as AZT, leading to a disease that causes a weakened immune system. What virus that causes AIDS?
HIV.
Yep. Anyway, for discrete distributions, this can be calculated by multiplying each possible outcome by its probability. Identify this two-word phrase that is the mean of the random variable. Answer? Steele?
The absolute mean.
Is expected value. This value can be obtained for a random variable by taking the expected value of the squared variable minus the square of the expected value of the variable.
Possible value.
Steele?
Value.
Variance. For this distribution, you can find the expected value by multiplying the number of trials by the probability of success, or NP.
Probability.
Binomial. 14. This mythological feature is the subject of the Eleusinian mysteries. This goddess is the mother of Arion and Desponia, children that she had with Poseidon. This deity is turned one man into a lizard and later ate Pelops' shoulder. This goddess brings winter for 4 months each year because of the absence of earth.
Is that me?
No. Name this Greek goddess of the hearth and the mother of Persephone.
Hera?
No. Demeter. No points. Toss-up 15. During this war, Feder Keller lost the battle of Motien Pass, and in a different battle in this war, one side accidentally fired on a neutral country's ship in the North Sea. During this war, Father Gapon led a demonstration that was later called Bloody Sunday. This war started at Port Arthur, and during it, Admiral Togo won the Battle of the Tsushima Strait. The Treaty of Portsmouth ended what 1904-1905 war?
Research Japanese war.
10. This mythological figure's wife, Glace, was killed by his former wife. Identify this Greek hero who was married to the sorceress Medea in search for the Golden Fleece.
Jason.
Meleager and Hercules were part of this group led by Jason that strove to find the Golden Fleece.
Dardanelles.
Okay, Jason was made to plow a field with fire-breathing bulls and then sow it with dragon's teeth by what king of Colchis?
Ixion.
One more time?
Ixion.
No.
Cassius?
It is AIDS.
Oh.
Okay,
Wow.
toss-up 16. Tony Shafrazi shouted, "Call the curator, I'm an artist," after spray painting "Kill Lies All" in this painting. In this painting, a tear can be seen coming from a dove's eye and a flower comes out of a disembodied hand at the bottom. Other portions of this painting depict a knife extruding from a horse's mouth and a light bulb replacing a pupil and eye. Identify this painting. Protesting Spanish.
Branica?
Good. 10. Your bonus. Identify these mountains. What 6,684-foot peak in North Carolina is the highest point of each of the Mississippi River? I said E. Point E.
It's supposed to be east.
It's east. Sorry.
High peak.
Nope.
Mitchell.
Mitchell's good. Sorry about the pause there. Grammatical issues ensue. What New Hampshire mountain in the Presidential Range is the location of the highest recorded wind speed in American history at 231 miles per hour? Answer? Steele? Answer? Washington. In 1965, a 7.5 mile long tunnel was built beneath this mountain in time for the Winter Olympics nearby. Identify this 15,777 peak, which is the tallest in the Alps. Answer? Steele?
Mount Blanc.
10. Which one? Yeah. Okay. Toss-up 17. Minor characters in this movie include Peter Kramer and Cynthia Rose Adams. In a mid-credit scene, one character from this novel auditions for the voice. That character, Bumper, is the love interest of one of the main characters of the film.
Pitch Perfect 2.
Bonus, nice stretch there. Answer these questions about British monarchs. What current British monarch is the longest reigning monarch in British history?
Elizabeth II.
Okay, what son of Henry II and Eleanor of Aquitaine came to power following the death of his older brother Richard I?
Charles V.
Steele? John. What British monarch served for less than a year in 1936 before abdicating the throne to marry American divorcee Wallace Warfield Simpson? Steele?
Edward VI.
8.
Time out, please.
Question to 18.
Question 18, yeah.
We're going into 18. Probably.
Okay, I've got 210, 160.
That's what I have, too.
Coaches go to score?
Yep.
Okay, ready to go? Okay, toss up 18. To appeal to the public, this president served a 1,400-pound block of cheese to visitors at the White House. Richard Lawrence attempted to assassinate this man with whose
Andrew Jackson.
power. Identify the following for 10 points. What gas law states that at constant pressure, volume, and temperature are directly proportional?
Boyle's Law.
Steele?
Ideal gas law.
Charles. What gas law states that at a constant volume, pressure, and temperature are directly proportional?
Boyle's Law.
Steele?
Ideal gas law.
Gay-Lussac's law. What law states that stress is directly proportional to strain and is used to calculate the restoring force on a spring?
Stokes Law.
Good. 10 over here. 19. This author used real-life dictators from Spain, Venezuela, and Colombia as a basis for a fictional dictator.
Orwell.
Doneg. In his novel, The Autumn of a Patriarch, he included the story of a very old man with enormous wings in his collection. Leaf Storm, which also marked the first time he used the fictional town of Macondo. His best-known novel profiles several generations of the Buendia family. Identify this Colombian-born author of 100 Years of Solitude.
Garcia Martinez.
10. Identify the following musical compositions that are out of this world. Peter Solomon nicknamed what Final Symphony by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart that has a C, D, F, E motif includes a 5-theme fugue.
Junior Symphony.
Okay, what orchestral suite by Gustav Holst includes sections titled The Magician, The Mystic, and Bringer of Jollity?
The Planets.
Okay, what Beethoven composition is conceptual, quasi una fantasia, and had its name inspired by a reflection of Lake Lucerne?
The Lunar Symphony.
No.
Midnight.
Moonlight. Toss up 20. Two men in this musical make their fortune in the scrap metal industry. Those men are Monsieur Firmin and Monsieur André. One song in this musical is sung to appease the Charlotte and is entitled Prima Donna. The Comte de Changy recognized one character in this musical as a childhood friend after she sings Think of Me, All I've Asked For.
Phantom of the Opera.
Good. 10. Identify these landmark Supreme Court cases. Rufus Peckham delivered the majority opinion in one 1905 case that limited working hours to 60 hours per week.
Later rights case.
Steele. Nothing. Lochner versus New York. What 1962 case concerning the redistricting of Tennessee political boundaries reinforced the concept of one person, one vote previously stated in the case Shaw versus Reno?
Jones v. Jerry McAfee.
Steele.
Smith.
Baker versus Carr. This case stemmed from the district court decision pertaining to when a television network could show the film Hillary the movie. What 2010 Supreme Court case was struck down portions of the McCain-Feingold Act dealing with campaign finance reform?
Citizens United.
10. Good catch. Final score?
225, 220.
Oh, good match.
Good match, guys. Shake
That was a
hands.
good match. That was a good match.